I haven't streamed in a hot minute because I've been in a place with a lot of noise, and if I still have noise, I apologize. Today we're just doing a prospect game. I'll probably do 2 of them, but we'll see. And we have a Guan Yu ban and a thing to ban. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I don't really think Guan Yu is really worth the ban anymore, but that's just me personally. I don't think he's that overwhelming presence that he used to be. Once again, not really a big reason to analyze. It's just basically like being a ranked game. Sobek team up bans still pretty standard bans. With the prospects, I don't know all the players. Papa Nike is a UD player. Logan Too Fresh is a new player. I think this season, Xeno Rich was one of the top. I think he was the #1 mid lane player for LD last season. And everyone else are basically just new faces for the most part. And then you have a shitter right here in Winged Hydra. He's trash. Tsukiyama ban. Also pretty normal ban. Usually just like a filler ban people would pick. There's like, he's not good enough to really warrant being banned, but he's also a good character, so you just don't like to face him. And then we have the Gilgamesh ban. And so we should end up with our first pick here. I'm curious to who you prioritize here. Most of the really good stuff is gone at this point, and it looks like, oh yeah, Set's always a good thing. Yeah, I kind of forgot he was there for a moment. Set did face some pretty serious nerfs here recently, but he also kind of got buffed because Shell got nerfed really hardcore. So one of the biggest problems for him is now gone. And it looks like they're just kind of go through a bunch of characters right now. Geb and Onher do get picked up. They're very strong duo lane. Geb more late game based, but he's a lot of safety to the lane and the team in general. It looks like Yemoja and Morgan both get locked in. Yemoja is a very high execution god, and most people in this level won't be able to perform her. Well, won't be able to use her to her full potential. And Morgan is OP because, just double sets just kind of crazy. Like, how do you, can't really deal with that too well. King Arthur does get picked up. He's a very strong laning opponent. Very difficult to deal with. Kind of just wins lane no matter who you're facing. And Ullr does get banned. Likely a target ban to specify who, whatever her, really likes Ullr. Giannis does get banned as well. Brings a lot of mobility to the map. Same thing for Apollo. Just global ults are really strong on a larger map. The bigger the map gets, the stronger global ults become. And Syl also gets banned, who's a very strong mid laner. Nymphs just gets picked up. Very good lockdown potential. Good into fighting that 1v1 against Set. Says nothing that can actually get rid of her shield. which is very good for her in the 1v1 that very often takes place between junglers. Jingwei Lock can bring a lot of safety. On her kind of bullies out whoever he faces, so this will bring some safety to the lane. And just help her stay alive for that little bit extra time. Nike being picked up into King Arthur, that seems a little risky. She kind of just loses lane. Really hardcore. Anchor's Ankh and Sunder really shut her down. We will now be going into game. Okay, we can fast forward the beauty of replay. Yeah, we'll put solos up top. Carries bottom. I'm sorry, I'm not Doug. I'm just not as good as him, unfortunately. If you don't know, Doug's a spectator for SPL and SCC. He's a god at it. I, on the other hand, am not that good at it. Out of the starts here, all very normal starts. Give good Sentinel's gift to help him get ahead early on in lane, but will likely hurt him a little bit, especially if Emoji rotates around a bunch, forcing on his rotations. But with the pressure generated by lane, he should probably get ahead enough for it not to matter too much. Looks like red team is doing the Jade Dragon start, or yeah, Jade Dragon start, while the blue team's opting out for the more normal start. King Arthur, one problem with this is King Arthur is really slow at clearing the buff. It's not the slowest, but it's also not very quick. Links to get that extra minion. Yeah, Merlin is actually in a pretty good matchup here. Most people, he doesn't tend to actually win against in lane, but Morgan's one of the few gods he can actually out clear and out pressure. Looks like Set beat Nemesis to lane, so he's gonna be ahead. Morgan getting a lot of damage here. Extremely low. Gets sold by Hydra, first blood goes to him. Looking for some mid camps here in the mid lane. I imagine they're pretty much free here. Red team's draft, I think, is really good. They have a lot of strong early picks, really good late game picks, and Nemesis to help round out the mid game. I think their draft is extremely good. While blue team is a much more mid game based team, late game. Let's say blue team is very late game based. Jinwei's late game sets, well, sets good all game, but like Morgan's late game, Nike's late game, Emoji's pretty much late game. Because especially so strong as that. Nemesis having nearby looking for a gank here, but instead might just opt out to invade. Instead of taking too long. Pauls are looking for a red buff invade instead, it looks like. A little risky here. Set's still going for it regardless. It's risky. Blue team does secure their own red buff, and nothing lost or gained by red team. Looks like they're looking for an invade here on the duo side. Decided to back off, not knowing what the enemy jungler is at likely. This is probably the reason why I imagine they backed off. Sorry, I keep yawning. Yeah, nothing too crazy happening over here. Arthur is able to back for his full item. Imagine Nike will be able to here soon as well. Arthur already almost 1k ahead at 3 minutes. This is a very large lead for him. Everywhere else, so it's pretty much even for the most part. In fact, red team's kind of behind everywhere else, it seems. The 1k gold lead in soul lane, and if the gold lead's not quite that far ahead. So I think a little bit of poke here, nothing too serious. He's a little bit behind the farm, which means he is behind on his power spike. Since he didn't go that boots rush. Going to pressing in a decent bit of damage here. Being forced out lane, it looks like. Meaning Arthur's going to continue to get ahead, which is a big problem facing King Arthur. He just really snowballs out of control, especially if he gets ahead. Unless it's taking a bit of poke here, Specify dashing in. It looks like Specify is going for the kill, but can't quite catch it. Lesson ships away and gets out safely. I'm saying all these boots are pretty normal. Set probably could have rushed boots, but this also isn't a bad way for him to start out either. Greaves is very strong, so I'm assuming he's going to go it. Just reinforced shoes / Greaves are just really powerful. Give you so much tankiness, HP, and just stats. There's a stat monster, honestly. Sat looking for rotation here. See if you can get it. Decides to back off, looking for an invade now on red buff, it seems. And he won't be doing anything with it, so now he just ends up wasting his time and getting caught out here. Now Logan G rushing a lot of damage here, being extremely low and gets blown up between Big Monkey and Winged Hydra. Gets killed very quickly. Reikyu gets a kill here in mid lane on a Papa Nike. Papa Nike falls down his set. Very unfortunate for this set to be fairly far behind it. 3733. I think it's not too far behind, but he's not really able to get any leading. Loses speed buff now, gets invaded. Which is really going to put him behind. Big lot of damage going on. Xeno Bridge gets blown up very quickly by a Monkey. Sorry, I was looking at chat. My bad. Big win right there for red team. Blowing up Xeno Bridge, shutting down the Morrigan. And not really shutting down, but getting killed on Morrigan. Red team really just winning in all lanes right now, except Duo. Which is odd, given that it's an on her versus Jingwei. But not too big of a deal in the end. Like, I think Logan's a good player. I think it really just depends on his matchup. And he's also either hot or cold when he plays a lot of the time. I think he's a good player overall. If each other day we were kind of trolling with it, and we were supposed to troll with it, and then I was getting camped. It was unfortunate. It was okay. It wasn't, he didn't call for the games. It's not like his fault or anything. Not too much is going on right now. They're just kind of farming, picking up the farm. It's a lot easier to do this if someone else talking with me. It looks like Morgan will go for the Spirit Desolation, while the Merlin will opt for either Rod or Chronos Pendant. Nemesis looking for invade onto the speed buff here. And it looks like she will strip away the speed buff, which is going to really put Nike behind. And she will get out safely as well. Able to really just walk to her Arthur if she ever gets in any trouble here. With Arthur being so far ahead that he can kind of force out whoever he wants. reaches out, Papa Nike kills him very quickly. Monkey being chased out here, but does get out safely. And it looks like Arthur's looking for rotation in, but decides to back out. Given that his millionaire isn't there. Just taking the small win on the enemy jungler, really shutting down the set. The set's really far behind. He's basically worthless because he can't do enough damage to get a kill. And the way he really performs well is by being ahead and just being able to out heal your damage and out deal it. Gets like 3 clones out and then just one shots your backline. But if he falls behind, he can't do that, and he really just kind of tickles you if he's behind. So by shutting down this set, it's really giving Red Team a really good way to win this game. I think Blue Team ended up drafting way too much late game, so they're gonna have no pressure anywhere on the map at this point. Well, they shouldn't. They have pressure and do somehow, but it's not much of pressure. It's a Jingwei, so it's just not offer that much early game utility. Until she gets crit online. And if Red Team can keep snowballing like this, it'll be too late by the time she does get that crit online. Looks like they're looking to invade, I guess just the back games here in solo. Yeah, that's all they're looking for. I'm guessing they're looking to catch somebody out. But there's nobody to really catch out. Looks like they're going on to Nike over here in the solo lane. It's just extremely low. Nike do a decent bit of damage going back under. And just kill this tower and then chase down the kill. Geb rotating over. And it looks like they're just going to call off the rotation. Going on to set instead, looking for a blue buff invade. Papa Nike taking a decent bit of damage here. King Arthur chasing out too. Turns into Nike here. Really safe for the Morgan. Ups, downs. A bit odd. Likely should just dash away. Monkey's taking a little bit of damage. He's out here on his own. Geb and Arthur both diving. Monkey being forced out of the engagement here. Geb now dead. Arthur trying to do damage he can. Monkey getting a kill onto Xeno. Dies, so. And they do get a kill over there in dueling on Specify. And it looks like Arthur will just walk away. Blinks out. Clears the wave here. Is going to dash away, it seems. Looks like Arthur is probably just dead here. Looks like it's some wave. And will fall down here to DJLM. DGLM. That's some player damage. Logan doing a really good job of staying into this game. Even though he is nearly 1,500 behind, he is doing decent work during these team fights. Unfortunate though that Morgan has to turn into Nike because that's about her best shot. She likely could have turned into Arthur as well, but I think she did it to get the Nike ult to keep her alive. But with Arthur being ahead and having more items, that might have also just been just as good a transformation for her. Would have kept her alive just as long probably with Sonagaya, and maybe allowed her to deal more damage. But she might have also just panicked like Nike, just looking for a tank, just grab it as quick as she could. Specify being dove onto here. Looks like Monkey will not get catch her out, force out the ultimate, and looks like Red Team is going for the Gold Fury here. Blue Team is contesting it, and looks like they will be trying to him out. Logan rotating in, and it looks like they do drop the Gold Fury. Going back to it again, let's see a little bit of poke from this Gold Fury, eating the damage, bigger part of the damage here. And looks like Red Team is able to secure the Gold Fury. Logan does get killed on lessons here. Blizzard really low. Big Monkey's a kill on DJLM. Blizzard extremely low, having to be forced out. Papa Nike gets a kill on the Blizzard here. Looks like nobody else will fall. Reiku might fall though. Gets up the Aegis here, but it looks like Reiku will likely fall here to Logan. And it looks like it's a 2-for-3 trade for Gold Fury. About an even trade. You don't get anybody too much value on the side of Blue Team, but you do get some very high value targets on Red Team. So likely an overall win, maybe for Blue Team there. See it. Yeah, see like that. You see it spike down for Red Team, and it goes back up into Blue Team. And yeah, big win right there for blue team. Maybe big's a bit of a stretch, but more like prevents a big loss for blue team. It looks like both teams now should go back to farming here. Arthur not quite able to do enough work to match for his lead. He did zone out 3 people during the team Gold Fairy fight, but he also wasn't able to get any kill. I suppose it was because he was solo diving. But still, with a his 1500 gold lead is now shrunk to only 600. He's not that far ahead anymore here. Looks like Logan's rotating towards the mid lanes, recognizing that Arthur is nowhere nearby to go rotate there, seeing that he can make a big presence here, trying to dive in. Although he is a little bit too late on the dive in, and nothing really gained here. Specify forced it back by lessons, and it looks like blue team won't be really gaining anything else here. Just Hydra diving, but not really able to get any kills. There's really no kill potential here, unless Nike ends for the kill. Unfortunate. Lessons rotating in, getting decent damage onto him. Dives in here. Lessons taking a lot of damage from the tower itself, and they should be able to get this mid tower and then go clean up the Scorpion. So win here for red team. But once again, nothing too huge. Oh, there you go. Take care of it. Once again, nothing too huge here for red team. Scorpion plus a T1 tower isn't a giant win. They do just get 1 kill, but it is better than nothing. This Nemesis is really setting the pace of the game with how much pressure she's bringing to every lane. Really easily able to set up kills. And not too much is happening again. Yeah.
I have many tools at my disposal.
Our team does get the Pyromancer, just once again a small win for them. Not too big of a deal for blue team. It's not quite snowballing out of control yet. Logan getting caught out here, taking not too much damage. She's Nike, makes her really hard to kill. Big ult off onto her though. Gonna likely force up the ultimate here. And 2 ultimates now forced out, taking decent damage. DJLM is extremely low here, being dove out. Specify gets a kill on a solo, will do a kill on the lessons. And red team not quite able to win their 4v3. It's actually quite a significant loss for them. Finding a 4v3 and still end up losing it in the end. Not quite able to get any kills. Does force out all the ultimates, but gets the blink over here. Papa Nike taking decent bit of damage. Chase still going on, and they will back out here, not able to get anything. Really just diving here, not quite able to get Reiki dives in here very heavily, forces out Xeno's ult into Nike so she can live. And really forcing this all out for nothing because the Gold Fairy isn't even spawned yet. And they can't quite do it yet until Lessons arrives. So they will be forced to wait. And by then, both teams will be resetted and be in a much better position for this Gold Fairy fight. Blue team's not really out of it yet. Blue team's starting up the Gold Fairy here, taking decent damage. Arthur stepping up and trying to prevent the back of carries from doing more damage to it. Logan 2 taking a lot of damage, are getting blown very quickly. Monkey diving onto it. The carry is currently shredded down. Monkey gets a kill onto Logan 2 Fresh. And now this is a big win here. Specify spotted out here, being chased out by Hydra. And it looks like Specify should get her ult used and get out very safely. Should be able to pick up his tower and the purple buff. Not too big of one at this moment, but still a decent swing in terms of gold for them in XP. They should be looking for the fire giant here with these Oni waves pushing up. They could really force the enemy team to respond by either rotating to the objective, or when someone has to go clear a wave, they can just force the fight to go take the fire giant themselves. Hydra's sticking around a little bit too long. Poison Star being rushed on Specify though is a very odd crit item to be rushed. Doesn't crit often enough to get any use out of the passive to make it worth it. Odd to see red team isn't starting the objective yet. It looks like they're rotating for it, knowing the waves push up mid, but that's not quite the best one to have. Starting the objective now. Looks like they're aiming to burn it down. The two Stanton and Merlin's actually not the best way to burn it down anymore, ever since the nerf. It doesn't actually do any bot shred whatsoever to the objective anymore. Hydra currently trying to zone out Nike. Doing as much damage as possible. Red team does secure the objective. Logan dives in. Logan doing a decent bit of damage to Riku. Papa Nike is forced out, and Hydra is rotating back in to help zone for his team. Papa Nike stands the backline, dives the backline. Nobody really zoning for them. Riku taking a lot of damage here. Does end up getting the kill on Nike. He was fairly low, and two people go down. Logan, Too Fresh, and Nike. Meaning they should be able to get a Phoenix here for fairly free if they want it. But it looks like they might just back out. And they are just backing here. Odd to see they don't look for this objective. Oh shoot, I hate this glitch. If your camera's angled to the outside, it'll just like fall down into the outside of the world. You can't move anymore. They do use the T2 tower and should back out here. Not as bad as it could have gone. I think if they just group up as 5 and push this right lane, I think they just get the kill. I think they just take the Phoenix there in a 3v5 situation very easily. Could have been a much bigger win for them. Blue team now being in a fairly bad position here. They are fairly far behind. The only people who are even are the solo laners. Likely because Hydra probably rotated out too often and didn't get enough value out of his rotation. Otherwise, you could also say that given that the teams were fairly even to begin with and then they're ahead, maybe the rotations didn't matter. I think it's arguable either way. I think he didn't have a big enough influence rotating out with his lead, but it was worth as Arthur. And Logan's currently split pushing, getting a tower. Pretty decent win for losing nothing for blue team. I mean, yeah. Just a small win for them. Give them a little bit more golden XP, maybe a level, which could help them win a fight here. They are giving him middle tower for basically free, seeing that he is alone. And it looks like they're fighting over it. Papa Nike did aim to defend it here. And he's fairly safe to do so. He doesn't really lose anything, stalls out the tower, falling immediately. And now red team should look to siege the Phoenix here. This could easily go badly here. One big thing is Jingwei doesn't really have any crit here. Papa Nike getting a lot of damage here, getting blown very quickly. Big ultimate by the Geb here. Hydra gets a kill on Papa Nike. Nemesis is currently in mid here. Hydra gets blown up very quickly along with the Geb, who will also die in an instant. Diving in currently, and it looks like this is a pretty big win here for blue team. 1-for-2 trade, and then we can hit Fire Giant. It's very large. Likely Nemesis trying to split push because it lost from that fight there. Just taking that 4v5. They really should have waited till the Nemesis pushed up further so that they had a response. They either lost the middle of Phoenix or they had to make it a 4v4. That was likely the better way to do that. You know, they got Papa and Nike for basically free. They could have easily just backed out and then gone back in. But instead, they're going to take this small loss, and it looks like they will walk away with nothing to gain other than 2 T2 towers. Yeah, they're going to take both objectives, it looks like. If blue team recognizes, they can easily pick out the red team right here on this objective. They're not that far away either. Really, Lessons isn't doing all that much damage for what he has. items, he's fairly low in the player damage charts. And the biggest problem here is likely Papa Nike, just where he's so far behind. He's not able to get enough value out of the set. And with his wing blade, it virtually makes the set it makes it virtually impossible for the set to ever win that 1v1 trade between the Nemesis and the set. Big lead for everyone red team overall though right now. They're 10k ahead. They've got most of the objectives. It's very difficult for blue team to come back with how late game base their team is. I think building Crusher here is pretty bad for set. It's a very late to be building Crusher. That passive virtually has no value at this point. It's much better passive for earlier on rather than later. So he's just really losing on value at that point. Morgan's a very hard time when coming in from behind. They have very poor, honestly, they have a really bad Phoenix defense. Their best defense is Morgan turns into Merlin. They're currently just zoning out the enemy from real coming into this fire giant. Logan professionally to get in here, dives in just a little bit too late, and Logan taking a decent bit of damage, having a huge dive on him. Logan should fall down very quickly. Morgan transforms into the Merlin here. Like I said, probably the best transformation she has actually for defending. Her best defensive transformation is now gone. Really diving on as Morgan decides to drop the pick here. And red team should just run it down to the Phoenix here. Knowing this Morgan is forced out of the fight. This Phoenix should fall fairly free. As I said, the very poor defense. Papa Nike falls down very quickly here. Gets absolutely blown up. And the Phoenix falls down just as fast, diving very hard onto the Specify, taking a lot of damage here. Specify dies here. This could be the game. Specify does fall down. And it looks like red team might be able to just end it here. Phoenix down below half, 5k HP, 4k, 3k, 2k, 1k. Phoenix, Titan does fall down, and red team does take game 1. I don't think there's any big player difference other than in terms of jungle. I think the biggest issue was really just how like late game base their team was. I think that was honestly the biggest problem. My team got ahead and they didn't really have any clear answer. And on defense, their team's actually really bad into it. I can still teamwork people. And so they just have a really hard time coming back into a game when they're from behind. It was really just the biggest problem there for them. Like, who's defending the Phoenix without any crit on Jingwei? Nobody. I mean, Xeno can turn to Merlin, but that's a 10-second defense you got, and then once that ultimate's down, she's got nothing to defend it. She can't go dive the backliners on the Phoenix defense, or she's just gonna die herself. Jingwei doesn't get in there, she has to play fairly far back and save. Yamoj is a good defense for the wall, but if there's nothing else to follow up on it, then it's just a wall. Holds on for 5 seconds there. Nike's so far behind, he can't do any damage to actually dive the enemy team. And Lo can get in there, but it's just him by himself. And he'll get blown up. He just gets turned on and blown up, or he just gets ignored and the Phoenix falls and he gets blown up. Doesn't really have a choice, and makes it very difficult for them to be able to win that game. Alright, we'll be right back while I set up the next game. Alright, we're back again. This time we have some new players picked up for it. Virtually the same base teams, but we do pick up some higher level players. They do end up picking up Quexen and Tantalus. Some of you may know Tantalus from his godly game on Scylla against Mace to the Face. And Quexen, I believe, is a newer player, but he has been playing fairly good in the prospect games, especially against some of the higher level players. Red team also ends up picking up a Nori. I think it's the only change they made, who's a very strong carry player. Sat first pick once again. With on Quexen though, it should be more of a threat. I know Papa Nike plays support and solo. I think those are his main roles. Sobek Honor picked up very strong duo lane. That's a lot of pressure to deal with. King Arthur picked up for Logan Too Fresh, leading to a very high pressure comp here. This time around, Scylla is a bit more late game, but she also does big damage even early on. Like she's not as bad early game as some people remember her to be, like her past, like she was in the past. She's a lot of damage early on now, compared to what she used to have. Yana's also picked up very strong as well. A lot of global pressure. Like I said before, global pressure is a very powerful thing to have here. Like there's almost nothing bad about having a global presence with such a large map, as long as you use it to out-rotate the enemy team. Athena team out Gilgamesh bans, like there's no reason for me to analyze the bans, they're pretty standard. Looking at the two teams based upon just players, I'm starting to favor blue team here. And Nori is also a really good player though. This is actually coming at a fairly high level, pretty stacked lobby. Slowly. Sun Wukong and Sir Cat both being banned out here. I know Sun Wukong's one of Hydra's biggest solo laners, so likely target ban. I don't know if Sun Wukong's really worth the ban in general against most people, but I know it's one of his main gods. And then Sir Cat also being banned out here. I don't know if Sir Cat's a target ban. I don't think Sir Cat offers enough value to really be a ban, but anything that kind of target bans Quexen, but I guess he already has sets, so it doesn't really matter. Kepri also banned out, meaning that red team's likely looking for a lot of kill potential here. Achilles being picked up. Very decent matchup in King Arthur. Doesn't really win it, but he doesn't hard lose it compared to most other gods in the solo lane. Heimdallr picked up here is pretty good carry. One problem with this though is that if the enemy team picks Loki, it's a bit of an issue. Because Loki currently has a bug with Heimdallr that he can just turn in permanent invis if Heimdallr sees him invisible. Which might be a bit of a problem. And Ymir is also picked up. Red team has a very tough time in Ymir. They don't really get out of it very easily. Only Onhurt can. Everyone else is kind of just trapped by Ymir walls. So if red team falls behind, they could be in big trouble here in these comps. Sets up easily for the Scylla Crush. Plus, I'm a monster, but instead the Ganesh are being locked in. I think Ymir was a much better pick here, personally. I think he really shuts down red team. Loki looking to be picked up, and Loki is picked up here. It's fairly good pick, because good into King Arthur can help get a kill into him. Good into Scylla. Pretty good into Heim as well. Loki's kind of underrated right now, personally. He offers a lot more pressure, and I don't know if any of you watch SPL, but Johnny really makes Loki work. He can work very well in high levels of play. Really being a post stomp god. Just how much bonus damage he can do. He can really shut down your backline if he gets ahead. Whoops. Oh yeah. Wonders of fast forwarding. Alright, there we are. We'll put solos up top. Carries at bottom. Followed by supports. Alrighty then. Curious to see how they start out this game. Both teams looking at pretty normal starts. I still prefer Benevolence over Watcher's Gift, over Sentinel's Gift. I keep calling it Watchers. And this was during the patch where things got heavily nerfed on Tuesday. So I don't know if I quite like the mannequin start for jungle, and this not because anything to do with that. It's just in general I like the mannequin start.
Minions have spawned.
I also don't like the shell pickup. Here. I think late game it's extremely nerfed. If you want to peel for your backline, get not Curse Song, but Horrific Emblem. It'll do a much better job at it, personally. Red team doing the same start as last time once again. Blue team doing the same start, it looks like. Curious to see who ends up winning the solar pressure here. Achilles getting like a little bit early, being he's level 2 first, seeing some decent damage off here. I think red team has a chance of winning through their dual length, how much pressure it can generate, especially with the Nori on her. He can really beat time clear in that 1v1 in lane. I think Loki's nearly as good as late game gotta set is. Giannis really offers goal pressure. I think red team has ways of winning, but I think if they fall behind, especially they think of that Ymir, I think they kind of just lose. I don't really like the Ganesha here. I think he doesn't offer anything as a pick. He silences people, but silencing doesn't hard counter Achilles, hard counter Loki or anyone else. Like, of course, silence is hurt, but it's nothing too crazy to shut them down. I don't think it warrants the pick, is what I'm meaning. I think Ymir would have been a much better pick, had much more shutdown potential. And I think it's likely the pick they should have went for there. I think they really want to play through their soul laner here. If you can get King Arthur ahead, I think that kind of just means you win the game for free. Red team doesn't really have anything to shut down this King Arthur if it gets ahead. They don't have any real hard CCs to stop him. If King Arthur's out there being a Beyblade, Sobek can't knock him back. He can't really shut down this Arthur. I mean, they can hurt him and turn on him, but as long as blue team isn't very far behind, and they're all even, minus Arthur who's ahead, I think blue team just kind of wins for free. I think that's likely what their game plan should have been. Tangel's not really meaningfully far behind. He's a little bit. I really don't like this mannequin pickup on set. I think it's for the upgrade where you get like the 20% damage and current health, but that just doesn't really seem worth it to me. Just how much it falls off. It did get nerfed, but there's like just better pickup. Looking for an invader over here on blue team. Hydra taking a lot of damage here. Really getting shredded. Kind of fight it off. Staying as far back as he can. Gets the kill on a Logan 2 Fresh first, and a follow-up kill should happen here on the Quexen. Fairly decent win for blue team. I mean, first blood plus 2 for 1 trade. Both soul laners falling. It's a pretty good win for them. Likely if Hydra waits an extra second to press up, I think he makes it alive, or he doesn't miss his stun, he makes it alive. But it also, in all fairness, I was blind. Oops, that's not third person speaking. He's talking to something third person. He was blind.
Let's not lose our heads here.
Specified beats are picked out here. I think it's a wasted beat. I mean, they weren't a wasted beats. I'm wrong. Show and beats are both used.
I will not fail. Not daddy's.
My bad. I thought he just kind of died no matter what. My bad. Blue team doing fairly well. curious to see where they're really far behind at, because I don't. Soul is 600 gold difference, Jungle's a 300 gold difference, Mid's 200 gold difference. I guess everyone's ahead of their counterpart. It's just surmounting to a large lead. It's just everyone's a small lead. It's a tier 1 item. It's not even a tier 1 item per player. I think if Hydra goes UC does much better in this lane, I think that was a misplay against an Arthur. How much tick damage he does, I think User almost always the better play here. Honestly, I think that was kind of a misplay. Big Monkey getting a kill on a Tantalus here mid. I'm gonna play that back real quick because I don't know how that happened.
Ready to strike.
Take a minute. I think it's like around where the kill happens at. Spots of Tantalus, a lot of damage here from Reiki from the ultimate. He looks for the ultimate, gets the beads out, wastes the beads. Unfortunately, he couldn't get out just in time, and he does fall down here to the Loki. Likely might have not been a waste. Like if he could just get the dash off just a little bit faster, he's not alive. I think if he does the dash beat and then just hits the dash, it's a much better situation for him. Monkey coming rotation here. Ganesha really been diving onto him. Reiki coming in though. I think if he just backpedals, I think he lives there. Specify getting killed on the big monkey. That's a very decent kill, especially when you pulled out this was in a bad situation now. He eats Sobek into Niflheim. And it looks like Specify should make it out safely here, knowing that most of his opponents are out of mana. Currently, this is a really big difference in mid lane right now. Hydra kind of playing in between places here. Spotting out this set is rooting onto him. Set, however, does know he's coming. Is trying to clear as fast as he possibly can. Gets the dive onto him. Gets the beast forced out. And it looks like the set will fall down here. So should Logan. Blue team does secure the blue buff, which is a pretty decent win for them. I mean, it doesn't really win them the lane here, but it does take off some of the solo pressure that they currently have. I think the problem for Logan here is that he's just not able to match the damage. He's using his abilities probably a little bit too often as well. He's running out of mana very quickly, meaning that Achilles can have the pressure in that case, knowing that he has 2 to 3 abilities remaining, and he's just kind of forcing Arthur to back over and over again rather than die. And if you can force your opponent to miss out on like 3 to 4 minions every like 2 minutes, it's basically equal to a death and how far they'll fall behind. A lot of damage happening to Riku. Riku getting blown by Quexen. Looks like Blizzard should fall as well. Here's a pretty big win here for Blue Team. Monkey coming in though. Looks like he might get the kill back and return onto Quexen. 2-for-1 trade. Monkey really making that trade not go as bad as it was going. But this is a pretty decent win for Blue Team. They can get a little bit ahead here. It's going to be a lot of pressure. I really think where Blue Team went wrong, it really is just Ganesha. I love Ganesha, but I think he's just a bad pick into this comp. Whew, Ganesha almost hit by that Yana Soul. That's bad. Looks like Logan is going to lose Secret buff. Achilles will back himself since he is a little bit out of mana here. I think Logan likely could have gone for the Sona Gaia pickup first. Cloud Shield isn't really bad, but I don't think it's going to help him in this lane too much. Achilles, though, he probably from Void Shield. He has to sustain as is. I think that was likely the better pickup there. I think Sona Gaia is a bit of a, not really of a waste, but there was better options in my opinion. Because now, especially since he is going for this Cloud Shield, Hydra's gonna get heavily out-traded here. He has no extra damage, has no extra pulp, and will be taking a lot of damage here. Although this thing doesn't really hurt his chances of surviving. And if he keep eating those ults, he doesn't really care, I suppose. My lord, is King Arthur do too much damage to that ultimate. Red team taking a small win over here on by the Pyromancer. It's really good pickup, honestly. A lot of people neglect it and don't pick it up until they want to do Fire Giant, but I think that's kind of a waste. You can kind of, or if you're having a small lead but not confident enough to just go for the Gold Fury, I think you just take it down so you can get a free Pyromancer, which can help you get a lead big enough to do that Gold Fury. But a lot of teams just tend to not do it, unfortunately. So big a little bit caught out here, but nothing too big happening onto him. They unfortunately missed their damage, so he doesn't get punished for it whatsoever. And now Monkey chasing the Quexen, forced to dash away. It's Hydra. Sure, we got that. Big trade here after Monkey. Monkey will end up eating the tower, dies to the tower. And it's a big win here for Blue Team. Quexen getting the kill. Having a double kill on his side. Maybe going for a triple here. Reed taking a lot of damage. Triple kill for Quexen. Quexen getting very huge quickly. Now top worth here. Now this is something you'd never want to see. The enemy set 2 levels ahead. That's a big problem to deal with. Looking to help secure his blue buff. Hydra probably shouldn't be going in here whatsoever. Like, he has a decent lead in solo, but definitely not enough to just warrant to going in here. Misses his dash. They likely could have turned on him there, knowing his abilities are down. I don't think he gets the kill there. But I suppose Quexen taking his win and backing out isn't a bad situation either. Blue team now in a good position, honestly. The XP difference is in their side, in their favor. Gold difference only slightly in red team's favor. If this blue can catch up, I think blue team's a really good chance of coming back into this game. The teams are very close in terms of skill right now, in my opinion. And Norris isn't winning his lane too hard. Just a small lead there. Likely, red team could really play around their duo lane though. Like, you should really try to get Yonder further ahead than what he is. And then what really warrants picking on her if you're not going to try to push it ahead. Looks like red team is turning the Pyromancer here. Quickly burning it down. Yeah, I'll definitely link to the Discord. Give me a second. There's your Discord link. Ooh, Flex getting a kill on Nori. Sorry, I was just in the Discord. I should just pause there. Looks like blue team's gonna kill this Raider Scorpion here. Now that they're in the lead here. Looking at for a pick here onto Logan Too Fresh. It's very hard to get a pick here onto King Arthur with how much utility he has. Likely going to blink in here. He is out of mana. Logan Too Fresh does use his blink in trade. And that will be the end of their chase here. They will get the blue buff, but might actually be a little risky. Big Monkey rotating a bad angle. I think he probably should just follow his Achilles out. Hydra's sticking around is kind of a mistake there. He had the shot at being picked out there. He likely should not have stuck around for that wave. It was a bit risky by him. Could have very easily resulted in a misplay. What do I know? Maybe he was right. Holy cow, this is solo. Nearly a 1,400 gold in soloing against the King Arthur. Doesn't happen all too often, honestly. It's actually kind of surprising. Arthur usually wins. I think he wins his matchup, so I don't think he like hard loses it, but he definitely. I mean, I don't think he hard wins it, but he definitely wins it. Just really he's being forced to back so often because he can't get his blue buff all the time. I think that's where he's really fun behind that. Achilles also not leveraging his lead too much. It looks like Goldface being served by red team. Blue team has no idea it's happening, it seems. And it looks like red team should get this fairly free. Looking should really just be behind it so he can shred it faster. I don't really know why he's taking it. Goldface does slow down here. Quexen looking to go in, but realizes it's a 5v1 and it's not his fight. He will back up here, specify very low, being caught out here by Hydra. Gets his beads used, and it looks like he will just walk away here. Specify forced out into a Nori, really losing this trade into Specify. Very surprising that Nori lost a fight when he had such a huge lead. Like in terms of HP. Looks like they've been rotated onto. They should really back out here on the side of red team. They're way too low here, and they have a huge rotation. I'm a Monster hits 2. Very low on the side of red team. They really need to be on the run here. And blue team now on the chase. Arthur diving very heavily onto the enemy team here. Kinesha going in as well. And it looks like Arthur will get one up. Hydra coming in onto the enemy team here. Looking to dive Tantalus here. Doing a lot of damage. Igus is forced out here. And it looks like Tant will fall down to Hydra. Hydra now with a double kill. Looking to continue the chase here. Looking for another kill here, but can't quite get it. Chasing down Quexen now, who should have got very safely given the fact that he is a set, and they will just have to take that win there. Oh, take that loss. Ooh, Quexen being caught out actually, and Nori does get the kill. They could look for Fire Giant here, but they are fairly low. Surprised to see they don't immediately rush down this Fire Giant. Their carries are healthy enough to go for it. Like I said, I'm really surprised they don't just run for it here. Maybe they just decided it was a little risky and they take the win they had, but I don't know. I feel like Loki could have just 2'd the Fire Giant over and over again. That would have been enough damage for them to kill it. By just taking the small win, I suppose. And now it's really just a big goal difference in terms of everybody now. And the carry role is probably the smallest lead. In mid, you have a 1500 gold lead. In solo, you have over a 2k gold lead. Support's not too big of one, and neither is jungle. Really, red team's entire lead is just in solo in the mid lane, pretty much. Everywhere else is just small, like a very slightly ahead by 300 or 400 gold. Just not too big of a win there. It looks like Ganesha's really far up here. Red team really could punish them knowing if they knew what the rest of blue team was. The ward division isn't too great, however. Where's place? I'm curious. Yeah, the ward division isn't too good. Mid lane's not warding almost at all, which is really unfortunate for them. They really should be trying to ward up the entire enemy jungle, so they can really set up these objectives here very easily. Red team does secure the Pyramid basically for free, not too much to do there. Monkey taking a lot of damage here by Quexen, being heavily out-traded. It looks like red team will have to walk away with their small win. Looking for a dive here in mid lane, it looks like Quexen team heavily poked out here. It looks like they will be forced to back out. I don't know if I quite like the Arthur build. I think Void Shield's a better item here instead of Glass Shield. If you want to build defense and then you go Glass Shield. I don't know if Pestilence is quite needed at this point. I think it might have been one problem for him here. I don't think Pestilence is a bad item to build in general. It's how much healing the red team has. But I think it was better off like one item slot down. I also think Stone of Gaia is very necessary on Arthur, just for the sustain. Otherwise you just kind of have none. Achilles much better maintaining his lead this time around. Getting a very similar lead off the start, but farming enough to actually maintain it. It's a very good sign from him. Blue team really is in a bad position here. Smith's being cut off. Meantime, gets both used. It looks like Monkey takes a lot of damage. He does get blown up very quickly by Tangents, but they're taking a lot of damage in return. Igus is used by Tangents, but a little late. Smith's getting caught out by Reiki with the ultimate. I'm a monster used. I'm a monster off the mark here. He just can't quite connect. And Nori diving in very heavily here, and Nori forced out. Quexen diving in, but can't quite catch anything here. Should be forced out here. Arthur diving in as well, and Nori taking a lot of damage, blown up very quickly by Quexen. Achilles currently diving down on a Tangent, gets a kill on a Tan. Looks like the chase will continue here. 3v1 into the Achilles here, getting blown up very heavily. And Ganesha getting blown up, killed very quickly. Ricky will be forced out, he will fall down here, and Achilles will be forced to ult away. Now just a 3-for-3 trade, big win here for Blue Team. Still we're behind. Nothing too gigantic. Hydra taking a lot of damage here, getting blown up very heavily here. But Hydra will make it out safely, it appears. Still sitting around 1.3k HP. Neither team making away with much of a win there. I mean, obviously Blue Team's favored from that trade, just because it's a 3-for-3 trade and Blue Team's behind, so it's just a win for them. But honestly, it's not too big of one. Let's go this gold period here. Doesn't look like anybody Blue Team is really nearby except specify. If Blue Team could spot this out and recognize what's happening, they could easily set up to start doing the Fire Giant right now. But really, just Blue Team really just caught sitting around, not recognizing what's happening. Blue Team is really just kind of letting Red Team do what they want and force all the engagements. They're playing very back burner-ish. If we're doing the ultimate here, just to check and make sure that nobody's on the Fire Giant, because that's really what Blue Team should have been doing, was FG. It's very odd they weren't. That was definitely the better call that they should have done there. Red Team could have easily been punished there for doing that Gold Fury. But now, Red Team could really be able to do Fire Giant for free here between the Oni waves. Just pushing up, and them just being so far ahead that they can kind of force the objective they want to. Really, Red Team should be rotating Fire Giant right now and forcing out this objective. That's what I think they're calling for. And then these Oni waves are all pushing up here, and that Blue Team will have to either respond or just lose towers for free. And Nori taking a decent bit of pill here from Quexen. Looking for any pick they can get here. It looks like a skirmish is starting now. Neither team really all too poked out here. It looks like Blue Team's actually kind of winning the fight, but Red Team kind of just healing back the damage. So Red Team starts a Fire Giant here, forcing Blue Team to hard commit onto this fight. Hydra really zoning out two people at once. Monkey taking a lot of damage by Logan. Logan getting a lot of damage. Monkey getting completely blown up. Hydra still fighting off three people. Gets a pick onto Nori. Nori getting blown up very quickly, and Nori looks like he will fall down here. Taking way too much damage. William will fall as well. And really just a big win here for Blue Team. Blue Team taking out possibly Sobek as well. Just the back line just not turning on the fight when it happens here. Looks like Blizzard might make it out here. Quexen getting a kill, getting a little too greedy here, but it looks like Reiku has no more mana to keep himself alive. Support will come in to peel for him, but I don't know if that does anything but to delay the inevitable here. Logan very easily could have just dove back in there, gotten the kill, in my opinion. I think it was a misplay by him. He easily could have gotten in there. What do? They have no mana. They aren't going to pull you up. And now Achilles can come chase him down here. Achilles not realizing where he's at. I think he's looking to pin the tower instead, actually. That's what happened there. No shot he catches the Arthur. Uses his blink there, yeah. Arthur just gets away. Blue Team likely could have started up the objective here. Logan was zoning out two people. 4 of them were still alive. Collection just doesn't go for the kill there. I think they just burn down the objective and take Fire Giant for themselves and get themselves right back in the game. Now it's only a 3k goal lead though from what was a 7k lead in favor of a red team. And most people on blue team they're starting to be able to get their starters now. Mannequin Hidden Blaze do a lot of damage to them. They're gonna start taking 20% of their HP as damage. That's a lot of bursts for a set. Drink or what, like every 5 seconds? Still a lot of damage. This objectives too, doesn't it? Yeah, it happens to objectives as well. Looks like blue team's looking to just zone out here. Giannis currently split pushing. Blue team could recognize they can force an FG fight here and kind of have the advantage. The only problem is that Giannis has a global ultimate, meaning that someone will be forced to respond to this Giannis. Looking to take Power Mage instead, though blue team will get a small win here, but not quite equal to this objective over here, to the T2. Yana is trying to back here, going to force out Specify's back because they don't know where he is. Looking to defend this Phoenix now. And it looks like blue team's starting up the fight over here. Logan's a little far up. They likely could have moved him out there. They end up deciding not to turn on him, I suppose, though. I suppose it gets run too much, they do just get his beats, but still just a small win for red team. Like, Sona guy is just better more in laning phase, which is why I think you pick it up here. Or Void Shield. And then you pick up Void Shield, Glad, and then maybe your Magic Protection, probably against Guard, then a Spectral here. And then you finish your Bluestone Brooch. I think this is probably a better build. I don't think Glad Shield does enough damage to want to pick up being necessary. Buxton really chasing out Riku, who has to use his ultimate there, getting forced out of the fight, and now it's a 5v4 with Riku being forced to back here. Not taking too much damage, but he's just resetting himself. I think the display there. Buxton taking a lot of damage here. Monkey ultimate does go off by Arthur here. A lot of damage on the Cluxton. He's extremely low now. Red team's winning this fight. Cluxton is forced out of the fight now. So is Monkey though. Frenzy is using Nori forced out as well. Soba getting yeeted out to Niflheim. This does fall back in the enemy team. Big portal by Riku. Logan too fresh diving into the enemy team here. Hydra trying to do the best he can for his team here. Hydra getting completely blown up, taking a lot of damage. Looks like Hydra should fall down here, eating a King Arthur ult. Too much damage onto him, and Hydra will fall down. It finally gets shutting down by Tangelos here. Big win for blue team. And it looks like blue team will. Riku gets killed on Quex, and small win here for him. And it looks like they will fall back to the FG. Blue team's pretty quickly shutting down. Monkey looking to dive at the enemy team. I think he's pushing him a little too far. Being spotted out here. Ganesha taking a lot of damage. He's extremely low. He can't sit in here for much longer. He's going to get blow picked up here, and he's going to fall down to Riku. Getting a double kill. Specify will fall down as well. It looks like he's extremely low. Riku can spot him out here. He should be able to get the kill. Forcing out the Aegis. Getting the beats as well. Forcing out Aegis as well. Red team gets the Fire Giant. And it looks like Specify will fall down as well. 4 people down on the side of blue team. It looks like red team might be able to just run it down. Gets a DSI, killing Logan too fresh. And it looks like red team should be run down on right like in this T2. And likely forcing down the Titan. Selected. Flexen is respawned, but Flex falls down here. I think blue team just wins. Monkey taking a lot of damage from the set there. Looks like red team will just back up. Not looking just to go for the end here. I guess I called it a little bit too soon.
Your Titan is under attack.
Crazy how fast their lead can fall off the blue team. Decisively winning a fight and just pulling a risky Fire Giant being way too low. Honestly, I think this Scylla ended up killing the Ganesha there. If Scylla isn't standing right next to Ganesha, getting both picked up at the same time, I think they just take the FG or they only lose one player there. That Giannis type hitting 2 of them at once, along with that Nocturne hitting both, making them both stuck in place. Kind of just lost in that fight there. Looks like red team will pick up this objective back for items and pick it back again. Arthur really doing a lot of work in these team fights. Justice Ultimate doing so much damage, hitting for like 1k on the tanks, even carries. Very difficult to deal with. Red team should start their siege now onto the right side of the map. Likely able to pick up this Phoenix for free. I don't really see how blue team can test them here.
Never see it coming.
It looks like there's 3 over here on left. Really, they should be grouping up more here. They're really just not grouped up like they should be. I think they're pushed up way too far here. Quexen diving on a Riku, getting a lot of damage. Could have easily ended badly for them. 4 people here and the others just nowhere nearby. I think Monkey split pushing a little bit too much, or at least Red Team is not capitalizing on the split push enough. Logan diving in, getting stunned out here, not taking enough damage, nearly enough damage. DGLM taking a decent bit of poke, however, in return. Quexen taking a lot of damage, diving on the Big Monkey, not getting enough poke off in return. Wing Hydra diving out from the backline, really leaving his carries all alone. Blizzard way too far up by himself. Riku gets it going to Quexen and Nori up here, looking for the damage. Red Team really split up there. This should be the game for Red Team, however,
Unstoppable.
with 5 of full HP. Looking to dive on the Fire Giant, on this Phoenix here. Hydra
Your Titan is under attack.
looking to poke it out, and it looks like they're really splitting their call here. Monkey's just looking to attack the Titan without any real tank to help out here. They really should start shredding this objective now. Titan falling down very quickly, 2k HP, 1k HP, and it looks like the Titan will fall down to Red Team, and Red Team will take this game 2-0. Just fast forward to this. The Loki unit too much value. Quexen did very well. Logan Too Fresh did very well. Honestly, that Fire Giant fight is really where they lost the game at. Also, a little bit, just not enough damage being done by the Soa. She just couldn't get enough value out. Wasn't hitting enough crushes, enough monsters, or even Haru. And just Hydra really able to dive the backline for free, forcing them out of most fights. Almost all the damage done by Specify and Tant were probably just onto him. Really just diving for free in the backline. Also, only 2 wards still total by the mid laner here. Did good damage, not a lot of warding though. Really, I think it was a really close game despite how it looked at the very end. It really just about control once I got that Fire Giant. And that Fire Giant very easily could have gotten in favor of Red Team there. I think Red Team get that. It's a much longer game. Unfortunately, they weren't quite able to secure the objective there.